This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by very rugged-looking Joshua Buatsi. We're here in Sheffield. How are you, Josh?
Not too bad, man. It's a rainy day. I always talk about the weather, when you ask me how I'm doing. But I'm good, man. The weather is raining, but we're good, man. We're good. I'm in good spirits.
You are in good spirits, deep into camp, as always, as seen by your facial fuzz, giving me a little bit of a run for my money.
Yours is all shaped up and it looks better than mine. You can't see it, but it is just patterned a bit better than mine.
Thanks very much, Josh. Thank you very much. We were talking in the car on the way here. The last time I spoke to you was January 2020. Now that seems like years and years and years and years ago. So nice, vague, generic question to start with. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Wow. 2020 has been a surprise, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think I was meant to box March the 28th. Then we got the lockdown the week before, I think, or 2 weeks before. So since then, it's just been adjusting to the new life. Still training, but spending time with family, friends, and isolating as well. So I'm back in the gym now. As you know, I've got a date, which we're hoping to announce this week sometime. But yeah, it's been very different for me. But again, I can't complain. I'm very much aware that there's other people that have had it 10 times worse. So I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in.
Yeah, I think it's always good to take a step back and realise how other people are managing. But, I mean, we are all individuals. How have you felt throughout lockdown? Because it has been difficult for different people, for different reasons, of course. How have you managed to survive it, really?
For me, I think, and for many athletes, I would say training has been important. Being able to go outside. Remember when we had like an hour out each day, being able to go outside for that hour, training, running. The weather has been good as well during this whole period. Obviously today's not that good, this week hasn't been that good, but the weather has been good in general. So I made sure I was always out, getting that hour in of exercising, whether it's running, cycling, training on my own, and just good vibes, good people around me to talk to and everything. And some family time, man, that for me was the most important thing. So I think having the right people around me and being able to, the thing is, Rob, I like isolation to an extent. I like to be on my own sometimes when I can, and to have that one-to-one session with myself. So for me, like, I was like, cool, this isn't too bad. But like I said, man, I'm aware that other people haven't dealt with it well. Some people like to be around people, which I do as well, but I appreciate sometimes when I have my own privacy in the space. So it's not been too bad for me.
Having that time to reflect and that time to really take stock of things, which I think a lot of people have done, whether they're athletes or outside of that. What have you realised over the last 4 or 5 months when we've been going through this? I mean, the word unprecedented has been thrown around so much, but it really is unprecedented times. What have you learned in those one-on-one sessions, as you say?
That this life is very short. It's very short, but it's also long. I say short because anything can happen, man. I'm sure people have lost business deals. People's businesses have come crashing down. Just people's life as a whole, I'm sure it's come and turned upside down. So that this life can be very short. You can be a hero at one point and go to zero. On the flip side, I've learned that it's also a long life. It is a very long life, man. We're blessed. We're here today. We're living. We're alive. We're breathing. It's a long life as well. But yeah, I've learned just to value people around me, to rebuild relationships with people that I haven't had a chance to do that with, or people that I'm kind of lacking to do that with. And there's probably a few people watching thinking, nah, Josh, you're still bad at communicating X, Y, and Z, but bear with me, I'm working on it. But yeah, man, you just have to value people around you, and I think time is precious, and just be grateful all the time. I'm very, very grateful for everything, Rob. Very grateful. I've also had a chance to think about boxing, my career, how it's been, what I would have done different, X, Y, and Z. So it's been an all-round analysis of myself, my life, and just areas to improve in.
Expand on that a little bit when you talk about your career, because one of the things I remember we spoke about in January was the fact that you'd been out of the ring for slightly longer than you'd been accustomed to as a professional. How has that changed your thinking with regards to your career? Just expand on that.
So end of this month, August, will mark exactly a year since I've been out of the ring. What do I think of it? I think inactivity is not good. But the thing is, I've done 2 camps. The fights fell through. They didn't work out, but I've done 2 camps. My body's been fresh. I haven't been taking the usual battering that you would take. So I think the break for my body in that sense has been good. I can only look at the positives out of it. It's given me more chance to learn and learn more in the gym. And yeah, man, so those are the two main positives I can take from it. Not putting too much pressure on the body and learning more and more. So from that point of view, I'm like, you know what, this is good for me. But like I said, the obvious, it's not good to be that inactive, but hopefully I'll be out in less than a month and then we'll keep the ball rolling.
Final things on all things kind of lockdown in Sheffield. Again, we spoke very briefly on the way here in the car about how things have changed and how things are in Sheffield at the minute. Obviously, you're training at the English Institute of Sport, do a lot of your camp up here. Just give us an idea, if you can, as to how strict things are at the English Institute of Sport.
Yeah, things are very strict, Rob. I think they're only letting in the boxers in at the moment, whereas the building is also a public building, so people can come in, but I think that's all locked off. And I'm always delighted to be invited up here to give the boys some good work, because they give me very good work. So I'm always happy when they're like, yo, Buatsi, do you want to come down? And I'm like, yep, I'll take it. I want to come down. I want to learn. I can help them. They can help me. It's always a two-way thing. So I'm always open to that. But yeah, it's been different than that. We've been adjusting, but it's nothing hard, man. The work is still getting done. It has to get done, because when it's time to fight, no one wants to hear any excuses. So I guess I just got to get on with it. And that's what we're all doing. We're just getting along with the work that we have to do. So when we fight, we can win.
How have the guys been? I appreciate we're expanding on that even more, but how have the guys been? Obviously, your Ben Whittakers, etc., who would ordinarily have been in the Olympics by now. Obviously, you've gone through that. How have they been holding up? Have you been able to give them advice?
I think they've all been positive. Like Rob, you think about it, and this is like a world event. It's not just happening to them. It's not just happening to me. It's happening to everyone. In fact, it's happening to other athletes in other sports. So we can't just sit there and be like, this is just with boxing. Nah, the Olympics has been postponed for a whole year. So they've accepted it. It is what it is. Take the necessary breaks that you need, but come back, be better, improve more, so that in a year's time you can perform better. So I think that it's all positives, man. And I think that's how you've got to look at things. I can look at it and say, I haven't boxed for a year. What have I been doing? But I look at the positives, I dwell on that, and I move on with that. So I'm sure they've been doing the same as well.
With that in mind, let's talk about the boxing. I was as excited as I'm sure you were that the boxing returned a couple of months ago, but we've also had the matchroom fight camp, which I know you've been keeping a close eye on. What have you made since boxing's come back?
Very impressive. We have to take off our hats to matchroom, man. They've pulled it out of the bag again. It was expected, but how it was going to happen, I didn't know. But they've done a good job, man. Have to rate them. I always say this to people when they ask me, what's matchroom like? I said they're a very small team, but efficient. Very, very efficient people. So, we had hats off to them, man. They've done what they have to do. It's been very entertaining. Good fights on. Hats off to all the fighters that have boxed on it. Because it means that they've had to work during quarantine and make things happen and make weight and everything. So hats off to them. There's some great fights on there. And again, it's been a whole team effort from the boxers and the matchroom team. So hats off to them.
Yeah, just to echo that, really, I think I'm going to give him a little shout out, Scott Hamilton, and the work that he's doing for the online stuff within Matchroom's outstanding. But talk about the boxing. Which performances have caught your eye? I know you've had a look and had a close eye and a keen eye on everybody. Your old, Dalton Smith, obviously ex-Team GB, very impressive in week one. Anybody else caught your eye?
This is a bit on the spot because I might forget people's name, but Dalton Smith was good. Ted Cheeseman was a good fight. Cash, good performance. Shannon Courtney, very, very good fight. Shannon Courtney and I can't remember is her name Rachel Wall. Very good fight that was. Zelfa, how can I forget that left hook? My goodness, very, very, very good left hook. Good finish. He was actually losing by a few rounds, and to come out and to pull it out of the bag, hats off to him. There's been other good fighters that you've put me on the spot that I've forgotten, but I'm congratulating every single fighter that's taken part in the fight camp. So hats off to you all, man.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate I've put you on the spot a little bit there, and I wouldn't expect you to rattle off all of them. You mentioned Dalton Smith. How rewarding is that for you to see somebody who's come through a similar kind of mold to you? Admittedly, he didn't go to the Olympics, but fight camp really has given people like him the opportunity to shine on the big stage. Must be great to see.
It's good, Rob. I've always said Dalton is a very good fighter. I remember watching him box in the World Series against the Cuban, and it was his first fight against a Cuban, and he narrowly lost. He just lost, and I said to him, Dalton, how have you learned how to do 5-3s at that pace comfortably against a very, very good fighter? Like, how have you learned it? Because I needed a few fights before I got used to it. So I was thinking, how have you adapted to it straight away and so controlled and composed. So for me, it was no surprise he performed like that. I've seen him do it a few times, and I kind of expect that of him. So when I saw it, I was like, hats off to you. You performed when everyone was watching, and that's what matters.
So it's going to be your turn soon. Admittedly, we're waiting on an opponent. You must be absolutely itchy knuckles stage at this point of your camp, surely.
Yeah, man, I haven't boxed. Like I said, end of the year, or end of this month, it will be a year. So it's been a long time, but I'll be ready. With no crowd, something different, but I've said to my mates, man, once I get in there and there's someone that's trying to win against me and I want to win, I'd like to think the no crowd effect will be out of my head, because I'm there to win and I'm sure they're going to be there to win too. So yeah, I'm itching to box, man. It's been a long time.
Not having the crowd there on fight night, I mean, obviously you've got an extensive amateur background. There's not always a crowd when you're boxing in some of the deep, dark parts of Kazakhstan, etc., and Azerbaijan on these amateur trips away. Do you think that will help you?
I think, as I said, Rob, I think no crowd or no crowd, somebody's coming to hurt me, to take my head off. So on instincts, I'm like, okay, cool. I have to protect myself, defend myself, and take them out. So that's the mentality all the time, man. If there's a crowd or no crowd, I'm thinking I'm in a vulnerable position now because this man's trying to come for me. So you can only retaliate and react back. So I think it will be the same for me.
Now, one of the things that obviously we're as a sport being pushed towards naturally because of the guidelines is more domestic fights. Lack of international opponents, or the red tape in getting international opponents is a lot stricter than it was before. With that being said, there's a certain domestic fight that you've been mentioned about lately, Anthony Yarde. Now, we've spoken about this several times in the past. Out of all of the Hearn-Warren collaborations, let's get it on, it seems to be your fight with Anthony Yarde that's making the most noise.
I didn't know that, but that's good to hear that the interest is still there. Is it going to happen? I don't know. It will happen, but as in, is it going to happen anytime soon? I can say it won't. Do I see Hearn and Warren sitting down and be like, yo, let's get together, let's let these lot fight together? I don't know, man. As a fighter, it's hard for me to say. Talk about Yarde, I met him, I think, we linked up like a month ago. There was something we were trying to sort out. We did it, but we wanted to redo it again. But like, he's a cool guy, man. I met him recently, and like I said, we spoke. If I got something to say to him, I'll ping him a WhatsApp. You ping me a WhatsApp. It is what it is. We understand that for now we can talk, we can do whatever, but eventually, when we have to fight, we will fight. And that's just boxing. It's like I said to you, man. It's never personal with these guys that I fight. I have nothing against them. I don't want anything bad for them. It's just for the moment we're in that ring, we know we've got to fight. I've made some good friends from boxing. Good guys. We might punch each other up during sparring, but after sparring, we shake hands, we buy each other food, we can chill together. It is what it is. That's just the nature of the sport that we're in.
Gonna need to know more about that meeting, Josh.
Sorry?
Gonna need to know more about that meeting a month ago.
With Yarde. So there was, I think, how do I break it down without saying too much? There was an incident and people were getting in touch with me, getting in touch with him. And as always, they want to cover it, they want to do this, they want to do that. And so I messaged Yarde, I was like, yo, I'm getting so many messages about this incident. He's like, so am I. So I'm like, listen, we can link up and we can sort it out, we can talk about it, we can do whatever we want, rather than letting people come and say, okay, here's the stage, the cameras are on, guys, off you go, make it happen. So it wasn't nothing hostile or anything. It was actually something that we both agreed on, an issue that we had the same mindset about. So it was something positive. But Rob, when it comes out, you guys will see it, you guys will enjoy it, whatever it is, it will come out soon.
You must have discussed a potential fight at some point during these conversations.
We did. And I think it was the same thing, that we're going to fight at some point. As to when, no one really knows when, especially in the current climates, no one really knows when. But it's always like, I can talk to Yarde for as long as I want or he wants, but we know ultimately we're going to fight one day. So without being fixated on that opponent or on that person, I get on with my career, he gets on with his career. If our paths does cross, then yeah, we make it happen.
Having known you and having known Yarde for a number of years, I understand that both of you are very much focused on yourself, but the lure of that fight must be something not to work towards, because I understand that for both of you, your ultimate goal is world champion, multiple world champions, multiple weight classes, etc. But the opportunity to do something like that, a Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua, a James DeGale, George Groves, something like that, that must be so tantalising at this stage of your career.
No, it's captivating to think, do you know what, there's a guy from London that's also doing well, and I'm doing well, and people want to see us fight. A filled out O2 saying seconds out round one, off you go. Who wouldn't want to be in that? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, like you say, it's captivating. We want to make it happen. But as you know, as fighters, we're the boxers. What makes it hard is he's with Warren and I'm with Eddie. So I think that's like the obvious red flag. But if somehow it can happen, it will. I'll take it, he will take it, and it happens.
So you're, from what I've heard, from reading between the lines, you're not entirely convinced of the Hearn and Warren Kumbaya collaboration?
Personally, no. I haven't spoken to neither of them to be like, yo, is it really going to happen? But just from the outside, just looking, I don't see it happening. I mean, one man's going to argue it should be on Sky Sports, one man's going to argue it should be on BT Sports. So who's going to give away? And both good promoters. I don't know who's going to give in. But like I said, that's just my opinion from the outside. I'm not on the inside. I don't know what's going on.
Do those things ever, I mean, I think I know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask anyway, but do those things ever impinge or impact on your thinking at all? The kind of the promotional politics around fights?
Not really. I think Yarde is the only guy that if I did want to fight straight away, it would be a bit difficult. I think with the WBA, I've got good rankings. I know Eddie's got Bivol, so that'd be like a straightforward fight. With the other champions, I guess if you've got a good ranking and you're the next guy in line, then it has to happen. So no, it doesn't cross my mind. I'm kind of concentrating on what I'm doing, what I have to do as a fighter, to learn what I have to learn to improve the way I feel I need to, or my trainer most importantly feels I need to. That's kind of like what goes on in my head all the time.
Final one on all things Anthony Yarde. You yourself, Anthony Yarde, both from inner city areas of London, both young, both speak very well. Anthony has always been very vocal about knife crime. You've always been very vocal about giving back to communities, whether it's here, London, Ghana, wherever. How excited and how proud would it make for you two to be able to sell out the O2 and bring such a massive fight really for London, obviously for British boxing as well, but for London and for people who are potentially coming through the doors of a gym for the first time?
It'll be good, man. What we want them to also realise is that if us two can do it, then they can do it. And this is a message I always want to say to people. And I give this example all the time. I used to watch the Olympics 2008. I saw DeGale, I saw the whole British team. I thought, imagine that, wonderful. They're great men. They've achieved the impossible. Then I watched 2012, Big Josh, Luke Campbell, everyone else. I thought, great fighters. How have they done that? Look what they've done. They represented a country at the world's biggest stage. In 2016, I went to the Olympic Games. So I think my main message to anyone that watches or these young people coming through is that Josh has done it. I'm as normal as anyone, so they can do it. There's nothing special about me. There's no difference between myself and them. Yarde has done it. He didn't have the amateur experience, but look where he's got to. It can be achieved, man. And I want to make it so realistic. They need to know that this is within an arm's length. You can grab it. This dream, whatever it is, you can make it happen. Because growing up, I thought, nah, how can you go to the Olympic Games? I was thinking, me, not me, but I was thinking these other guys, they're gods. Like they don't walk on the earth. Like they don't touch the ground. Like they're special people. And they are, but it's very achievable. I've done it, they can do it. There's nothing special about me. So the young people that are watching, or even those that are my age or even older than me, these things can happen, man. There's a price to pay, but it can happen.
It's very well said. You've mentioned his name there, Anthony Joshua. Looking back at him over the years and seeing his success at London 2012 and inspiring not just yourself, but of course a whole generation of fighters. How is he? I haven't seen him or spoken to him since Saudi last year. I'm sure you have. How's he doing, the big man?
Rob, I know as much as you do, man. I know as much as Josh is cool. Spoke to him a few times. He's cool. Again, we're just talking about other things outside the ring. Good things, but as always, I think it's important for things to happen before you start talking about it. Don't say, oh, we're planning to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you haven't done it. So that's all I can say about that. But he's cool, man. He's in good spirits.
Every time I see him on Instagram, when he's in the gym in London, he's singing, he's dancing, he looks like he's really got the bit between his teeth. Have you got that impression from him recently?
I haven't been checking or I haven't picked up that he's doing that. But like you said, man, he's always in good spirits, and I think that's important. Training is hard work, so if you could do anything to make it fun, I think it's important. Like, I'm going gym now, I'm a bit tired, but when I'm in the gym, I know someone's going to have some kind of music on, and I'm going to go next to the speaker and turn it right up. Because anything to pick up the mood or the intent or the energy or to be motivated, I'm all in for that, so I'll do that.
Moving from one AJ boxing giant to another, Mr. Lawrence Okolie. We spoke off camera. I haven't actually caught up with Lawrence in a little while. I understand that he's going to be going on the AJ undercard as and when that's announced for December. How do I put this next bit? Looking a little bit heavier than cruiserweight the last time I saw him. How's Lawrence? Have you spoke to him?
Yeah, Lawrence is a big guy, man. When it's all said and done, he always makes weight. He's big at the weight. Like he said, he has plans to move up to heavyweight. But he's cool, man. Last I spoke to Lawrence, I hope he won't mind me saying this, but he's released a track, a music track, and my strength and conditioning coach was playing, and he was like, "Buatsi, who does this sound like?" And I was listening to it, and I was nodding my head a bit, and I was like, "That's Lawrence," and he goes, "Yeah, you're right." So I rang him straight away. I said, "Okolie, bro, you got a song out? Send it to me. Send it to me on WhatsApp." And I was like, "Lawrence, I can listen to this on a day-to-day and be like, this is good music." So he's cool, man. He's in good spirits. He's touching in other parts of life, and he's having a good time, man.
He's going to start a vegan McDonald's, I think, the last time I saw.
Wouldn't write Lawrence off for doing such a thing.
I'd be up for that as well. I'm not vegan, vegetarian at the minute. But anyway, Lawrence, as I mentioned, the fact that he's going to potentially box on that AJ undercard in December. You went through the amateurs with him. You're obviously very close. Does that give you that added little bit of inspiration to see him having such success in his professional career?
Yeah, I think anything you can take inspiration from in life is important you do it. And it can be from the most random things ever. But yeah, from seeing what Lawrence is doing, as always, I couldn't speak of him. I've only got good things to say about Lawrence, man. Looks after his family, has fun, and the having fun in life is very important. And Lawrence, for me, is a good example of someone that works hard but also enjoys lives and has fun with life. And I think that's important. So, yeah, man, only positive things to say about him.
You're going to have his tune as your ring walk tune next month?
If I do, I know he's going to try and sue me, so I'm going to leave that to him to walk out to it first.
Yeah, come on, Lawrence, come on. Be a team player. Final one. Obviously, this weekend we see Fight Camp pay-per-view for the first time. Pay-per-view show in Eddie's Garden. Anyway, moving on. Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. What do you make of that fight, Josh?
Good fight. I'm expecting to... I think we'll probably see the best... Sorry, my alarm. I think we'll probably see the best Whyte. I say that because he's been in camp in Portugal for a long time. It's been a very, very long time. And I'm sure they've been smart enough to kind of schedule, when to go hard, when to calm down a bit, and when to rise again so that he'll peak at the right time. I'm sure they've probably done that, man. So I'm expecting a good performance from Whyte. Povetkin will be as dangerous as always, but yesterday with the boys, we were watching Whyte versus Rivas, and I said to the boys before it started, I said, watch Dillian Whyte's jab. He's improved. It's mad how much he's improved, and I rate him for that, man. So we sat there, watched the whole 12 rounds. I was like, watch his jab, the double jabs every time, kept on popping it, and I think he can handle Povetkin the same way. If he gets rid of him before the 12th round, I wouldn't be surprised. The other side is, again, the crowd. Is it going to have an effect on him or Povetkin or anyone else fighting? That's always a question mark with people, but I think Dillian is straightforward. It's business as always, man.
Just finally, elsewhere on that card, we spoke about it in the car on the way here, Chris Kongo versus Luther Clay. Now, in my opinion, still the most well-matched fight we've seen post-lockdown. Really, really looking forward to that fight. What do you make of it?
Yeah, Rob, you said it's the most equally matched fight you said that's been made during this camp. I haven't seen much of Clay. Like, Chris is my guy. Like, I know Chris, known him for years. Talk about Great Britain. When I was getting assessment, he was the first guy I rang because Chris was on GB already. I rang him, I said, Chris, I've got assessment. What should I expect? What are they going to do? What are they going to teach me? What are they going to ask me? Gave me all the answers. He advised me as much as he could. So when I got on and I had my assessment, I kind of knew what to expect. And it was because I had someone like him to call and be like, bro, what are they going to ask me? Because he's gone before me, long time. He's been there and he's done it. So I'm glad I could ring him, get the feedback. So seeing more of Chris, Rob, I can only vouch for Chris. I haven't seen much of Clay, if I'm honest with you. And Chris is looking big at the weight. It looks like he's made it comfortably. He's looking in shape. Do you know what I mean? So I'm a hungry fighter. He hasn't boxed for over a year. So I'm expecting to see some good things from him, man.
So am I. As I mentioned, I think that's probably the best fight, or the fight that I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. So there we have it, Josh Buatsi. Always a pleasure catching up with you. So I've had a little bit of confusion about the time, but we've ended up here again. We probably won't say where we are because we're not allowed, but we've been here a few times before. Josh Buatsi, always a pleasure. Before I let you go, certainly the start of this interview was very introspective and very thoughtful. What message have you got for fans who maybe have been struggling throughout lockdown, maybe they haven't, or what message have you got for fans leading to the back end of 2020? Because 2020 so far, not been the best.
Yeah. As always, guys, let me look at the camera. As always, guys, stay positive. It's been a mad 2020, but we're still here to this day, so we have to be grateful for that. Remain positive. Anything that you can stay close to gain some kind of positive inspiration from, do it. Stay close to it. Be in touch with your loved ones, because people are here today, they're gone tomorrow, man. Just remain positive in whatever situation. There's always a positive spin on it somewhere. Find out what that situation is. Find out what that positive aspect is. Hang on to it, and we'll come out on the other side, man. But as always, we want to thank the fans for always supporting us, giving us the time, watching, paying. We appreciate that as fighters, man. And as always, like they say, we couldn't do it without them. So as always, we do appreciate it. Even the ones that give us stick, man, they do it. But it is what it is, man. But as always, we're grateful. But for the people that are finding it really hard, please stay positive. Talk to someone. Most importantly, talk to someone. I love to chat, but chat to someone if you're really, really in a dark place. Talk to people. And those of us that are in a good position, that feel positive, that feel healthy, the odd hi to someone or engaging in a conversation with someone, it's always good. Be kind to someone because you don't know what they're going through. So let's remain positive. Let's reach out to people. Let's help when we can. And yeah, remain positive, man.
Always all class, Josh Buatsi. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you soon and hopefully seeing you in the ring in a couple of weeks.
I'll be out in a couple of weeks, so watch out, people. As always, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.